Okay, all of us are here tonight for the presentation, the public meeting for the 41st Street reconstruction project, all the way from Marion Road to Shirley Avenue, and the centerpiece of that project is the I29 interchange. So again, thanks to all of you for taking time out of your day to join us here tonight at the Convention Center. We'll try and make sure that you've spent your time well. We have a number of folks here on the board. You see the team is made up of folks from the South Dakota Department of Transportation. We have a number of representatives from that organization tonight, a number of representatives from the City of Sioux Falls. And my name is James Unruh, and I'm with HDR Engineering from here in Sioux Falls. I'm the project manager for the consultant team, and another consultant involved in the project is called Confluence. And they have a representative here tonight as well. They're doing the landscape design for the project. So a couple of things I just want to point out here. We had our first public meeting for this project way back in April of 2011. Any of you here tonight at that first meeting in April of 2011? Yes, we have some hands that are raised. Thank you very much for your patience and persistence during this long process, this long planning process. Our last public meeting was 2 years ago, actually, in May of 2017, public meeting number 5. Anyone here tonight that was at that public meeting? Okay, we've got a few more that were at that public meeting. Well, welcome tonight to public meeting number 6. There is one difference tonight, and that's that we are live with Facebook viewers. So there are a few slight differences to how we handle the public meeting when we have online Facebook viewers, and I'll get to those as we move forward. But thank you very much for coming out tonight and joining us as we really have moved into the detailed design phase of this very big and important project for the City of Sioux Falls and the state of South Dakota. All right, what are we doing here tonight? First of all, we're going to show you the project approvals. Very critical to get approvals to move into this detailed design phase of the project. We'll also show you the current project status with a couple of cool things. The first one is an animation about a diverging diamond interchange. The second thing that you will find very fascinating is an animation that flies over 41st Street. After that, we will discuss what is coming up next for this project. And then finally, at the end, we'll take your general questions and comments. And if you do have some, you will be asked to speak into the microphone and give your name and address. And if you have any general comments about the project, please do not hesitate to give those at the end of the presentation. But we can't really take those during the presentation just because of the Facebook viewers. Okay. We need approvals by the South Dakota Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration to move forward in these projects. What you see here is the approval letter from the Federal Highway Administration for the diverging diamond interchange at 41st Street and Interstate 29. The approval date of that was November 13th of 2017. Then, this is a clip from the environmental document for the project. It was approved by South Dakota Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration on February 23rd, 2018, just a little over 2 years ago. Very critical steps that were needed for us to move into the detailed design phase of the project, which we did shortly after that February 23rd, 2018 date. All right, now we are going to show you this diverging diamond interchange animation. And we will use the term DDI as short for diverging diamond interchange. Who of you has driven through a diverging diamond interchange? Okay, very good. We've got about half of the audience here, for those of you on Facebook, that have driven through DDI. In our first couple of public meetings back in 2011, we had exactly one person from the audience that had driven through a DDI. And now obviously there's many more across the nation, and many of us are much more familiar with that type of an interchange. In this animation is a lot of information. It goes by relatively quickly. It's about 6 minutes long. So you will be able to watch it here on the world premiere, and you'll also be able to watch it on our website, which is 41ststudy.com. So don't consider that this is your only shot at it. You'll be able to take a look at it on the website at your leisure, and it does view pretty well on the website. This we call an educational animation. Even though many of you have driven through DDI, about half of you, this is new to South Dakota, certainly new to the Sioux Falls area. And we need to educate drivers on how these interchanges operate and how to actually drive through the interchange. So with that, I'm going to go to the animation, and you'll hear a voiceover actually, and it will have narration. It's about 6 minutes long, and I will pump up the sound for the animation and sit back and enjoy this world premiere.
The South Dakota Department of Transportation and the City of Sioux Falls will build a diverging diamond interchange at Interstate 29 and 41st Street. The diverging diamond interchange, also known as a DDI, will be located near the Empire Mall and will provide access to the busy commercial district on the west side of Sioux Falls. As part of this project, 41st Street will be rebuilt from Marion Road to Shirley Avenue. West of I-29, 41st Street will be widened to 3 lanes in each direction to support the current and future traffic. The Department of Transportation and the city looked at several different types of interchanges and chose the unique diverging diamond interchange design because of improved traffic flow and safety. The DDI design is more efficient and costs less to build compared to the other interchange types considered. How does a diverging diamond interchange work? On the DDI, vehicles heading west on 41st Street will diverge from the right side of the road to the left side of the road as they cross, and then move back to the right side of the road to finish the movement. The same thing occurs for 41st Street traffic moving east. At first, moving to the left of 41st Street may seem confusing and dangerous, but it really isn't once you understand how it functions. Since the first DDI was open to traffic in Missouri in 2009, more than 60 have been built across the United States, and many more are in the planning and construction phases. You may have already driven through DDIs in Minnesota, Nebraska, and other nearby states. Generally, the DDI reduces crashes by up to 50% and improves traffic flow by anywhere from 10% to 40% in comparison with previous conditions or other interchange types. Now, let's look at some of the traffic movements on the interchange ramps. If you are driving north on I-29 and want to turn east on 41st Street to get to the Empire Mall or other stores nearby, not much will change from what you do today. You will take the same exit ramp from I-29, stay on the right side of the ramp, and then turn right on 41st Street once the traffic light turns green. If you are heading north on I-29 and want to go west on 41st Street, you take the exit ramp just like you do now and stay on the left side of the ramp. When you get to the end of the ramp at 41st Street, the traffic light will indicate when you can continue. Once the light turns green, you will turn left or west on 41st Street. Notice that you are not crossing the eastbound 41st Street traffic. Instead, you will already be on the left side of the road like the rest of the 41st Street westbound traffic. During morning rush hour, many drivers head east on 41st Street to turn north on I-29. On weekday mornings, 41st Street traffic often backs up to Marion Road due to the left-turning traffic at the ramp. With the DDI, 41st Street eastbound drivers will already be on the left side of the road ready to exit northbound. Drivers therefore avoid the current need to wait for another traffic light to make the left turn to the northbound on-ramp. This is the key traffic capacity and safety benefit of the DDI. Now, let's get on to 41st Street near the Empire Mall and drive to the west of the DDI. As we approach the interchange, the raised curbs, pavement markings, and overhead signs provide the direction we need. As we drive through the intersection during the green light phase, notice that the eastbound 41st Street traffic is stopped. The angle of the intersection and the barrier on your right side ensure that we won't go the wrong way through the intersection. As we move across the bridge, you may not even notice you're driving on the left side of 41st Street because of the concrete barrier on your right. As we come to the west side of the interchange, you'll drive through the intersection. Eastbound traffic is stopped as we move back to the right side of 41st Street. On the west side, 41st Street is widened to 3 lanes, allowing access to businesses and neighborhoods on both sides of 41st Street. The center median is raised to improve safety by leading drivers to signaled intersections to make safe left turns. Now we will see the greatest benefit of the DDI as we again drive west on 41st Street to get to southbound I-29. We start on 41st Street traveling west just like before. We need to be in the left lane moving through the intersection. Notice that all of the other traffic movements are stopped as we cross the intersection. There are no other traffic lights as we approach the I-29 ramps because we are already on the left side moving west. We turn left and merge onto the southbound I-29 ramps. It is specifically this feature that makes the DDI safer and allows traffic to keep moving efficiently. The southbound on-ramp will be wider than the existing ramp, but otherwise you will get onto southbound I-29 the same way you do now. Let's drive south on I-29 to head west on 41st Street. This movement will actually be the same as what happens now as the ramp splits into 4 lanes. 2 lanes turn left and 2 lanes turn right. A signal light keeps the 41st Street through traffic and the right turning traffic separated. When we have the green light, we head west on the new 3 lanes of westbound 41st Street. So far you have probably noticed pedestrians walking on the sidewalks along 41st Street. The thick red lines here show the pedestrian paths through the diverging diamond interchange. To cross the DDI, pedestrians will actually be walking on the middle of the bridge. They are protected from traffic on each side by high concrete barriers. At 4 of the 6 pedestrian crossings of 41st Street and the ramps, pedestrians will have their own signal phase to cross the roadways. In addition, all pedestrian features will accommodate persons with disabilities. The Department of Transportation and the City of Sioux Falls are eager to improve 41st Street and build the diverging diamond interchange at I-29. Many of you have been part of the planning process for this project that began in 2011. We are confident that you will appreciate the safety and traffic benefits as you drive on 41st Street and the new interchange after construction is completed, likely in year 2022 or 2023. For now, thanks for watching this video, and please check on the progress of the project and leave your comments at our website, www.41ststreetstudy.com.
Okay, was that helpful? Did you find that to be fairly helpful? I hear some yeses and I see some nods. Again, there was a lot of information provided to you in that animation. A lot of effort went into that, but because of the uniqueness of it, especially in this area, we believe it is warranted. And hopefully this will be something that is useful throughout the duration of the project to the general public and to people who live along 41st Street. So on this next animation, this we call a flyover animation. The reason we call it a flyover is because it's like you're in a helicopter that is just floating above 41st Street. The reason for this animation is to really show you what is going to be happening along 41st Street. What does this project do to the existing roadway and to the properties beside 41st Street? What you will see is the lighter pavement will be the existing roadway, and then the darker pavement will be what is proposed. So keep that in mind as you fly over 41st Street. It will start at Shirley Avenue and extend to Marion Road. And again, this is available on our project website for you to view at your leisure. It's about 2 minutes and 40 seconds long. And unfortunately, you're stuck with me on the voiceover. This one has musical background, but we did not put a voiceover animation or a voiceover on it. So I'll turn the sound down just a little bit and we will begin this animation. And this again goes from Shirley Avenue to Marion Road. And note, watch how we realign the Shirley Avenue intersection across 41st Street, a major improvement from what it is today. Note also that we will be providing 3 lanes in each direction on 41st Street, just like there are now, but we are going to be widening 41st Street to provide left turn lanes, dual left turn lanes, and right turn lanes where we can. We took great pain to make these animations, this one in particular, very accurate and precise. So we show driveway locations, we show exactly where the new road will end up on the existing road, and take this location right by Panda Express and Kingsmart, very, very tight to fit the roadway in this section with the center turn lanes. But it does fit. We do kind of eat up all of the green space. Look at Carolyn Avenue there, that will no longer connect to 41st Street. And now we're getting into the diverging diamond interchange. We'll actually be using the old bridge, but widening it just a bit on the north side to get the width that we need. As we head to the west side of the interchange, it really gets tight again. We'll have retaining walls along both sides of 41st Street, but we were able to do this without taking parking spaces like from the IHOP or from the La Quinta. And notice here, all of our widening going from 2 lanes in each direction to 3 lanes in each direction. All of the widening is on the south side. We really held that north side sidewalk. It's full of houses or apartment buildings on the north side. Really no way that we could widen to the north side. The south side, there was some room to add that additional lane in each direction. A much needed traffic capacity improvement for 41st Street. Will not function very well for very long with just the 2 lanes in each direction. Now when we get to Marion Road, you will see that we have dual left turn lanes on all approaches, especially on 41st Street. Again, that is a very overcapacity intersection right now, and we're making it quite a bit bigger to handle all of the traffic today and for the next 20 to 30 to 40 years at 41st Street and Marion Road. So we hope that this kind of a flyover animation is helpful for all of us to understand exactly what is going to be built on 41st Street. And again, we would ask you to take a look at it on the website. It won't have my voiceover, for which you're probably thankful, but at least you can actually stop it and pause it and make it go forward and backward, and I think you'll find it to be as useful of a tool as we can really develop. Again, we believe that the effort that we spent in developing these animations will be well worth it as the project moves forward. Okay, what is the next thing that's going to be happening? Well, next week, May 13th, 14th, 16th, and 17th, we will be meeting with individual landowners that own property along 41st Street, and maybe many of you will be coming to those landowner meetings. Several of the landowners that we contacted for the meetings, they said they'd come either to the landowner meeting or the public meeting, but probably not both. But we will have meetings with, I think it's up to about 50 landowners that own property along 41st Street. What we are going to be looking at there is certainly that flyover animation, and look very carefully at what happens at each property. We'll also have additional plans that will even give more detail to what will be happening at each property. Some specific items would be, okay, what widening happens onto each property? What happens to the driveways at each property? What happens to the signs that are out close to 41st Street? And we'll also touch on the utilities such as water, sanitary, sewer, communication, what will be taking place with those utilities. And we're there to get feedback from the landowners. It will be a dialogue, actually. So we would like to hear from the landowners what they have as drainage issues on their properties or what they see as drainage issues on 41st Street, and what your concerns would be for the project. So these are going to be, yes, pretty intensive time of meetings just coming up next week. Then during the rest of 2019, we will continue to meet with landowners. We'll take the feedback that we get from landowners and make modifications to the design accordingly. Then in 2019, we're also negotiating with 2 landowners that have total property acquisitions. And that will continue through a good chunk of 2019. Then in 2020, we will conduct appraisals on those properties that have partial property acquisitions. And when I say partial property acquisitions, that would be takings or acquisitions of a strip of property to widen the roadway, or temporary construction easements to allow us to build the improvements along 41st Street. And that will be done in early 2020 is our plan. Then later on in 2020, our plan is to make offers to the landowners for those partial right-of-way acquisitions and temporary easements. Then in 2021, we'll come back and hold public meeting number 7, likely the last public meeting for this project. And we will also be finalizing the design, the property acquisitions, and the permits for the project. 2022 is our targeted year to begin construction. That is obviously pending available funding. Actually, when we met with you last in 2017, our target goal for construction was year 2023, but we have shifted around some funding to accelerate this by 1 year and hoping to get it under construction in year 2022. We anticipate that this would be a two-year construction time frame. So if we start in year 2022, in 2023, we will have a completed project that will hopefully look a lot like those animations that you just saw. These are the contact staff for the project, and I'm going to ask them to just raise their hands. Stacy Duchesne is the contact for the South Dakota Department of Transportation. Stacy, where are you at? Back over there. That light is kind of bright, tough to see. Dina Knutson is the contact person for the City of Sioux Falls, and Dina looks like is in roughly the same place in the back. And I'm the project contact for HDR Engineering on the project. And again, we would ask you to look at the study website. It has been totally revamped from what we had during the previous phase of the project. So we hope that you will take advantage of that. We did not want to put these materials on the website before we showed them to you tonight at the public meeting. But what happens at these public meetings does make a difference, very much so, as the project moves forward.